days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, night and day, I look for thee, night and day, night and day, night and day, I look for thee, night and day. Porta del mio cuor tengo aperta io per te, porta del mio cuor tengo aperta io per te. Verrai tu, una volta vieni a me. Verrai tu, una volta vieni a me. Fuggiranno i miei dì senza vederti, Signore. Fuggiranno i miei dì senza vederti, Signore. Notte di, io ti cerco, notte di, io ti cerco, notte di, io ti cerco, notte di. Sediamoci dritti.
Sit upright. Close the eyes and look up, gaze up. Lift your gaze. Try to feel your own body like a mountain. Feel how stable, how steady the base is and how vast, how wide. And then the peak, wanting to go higher and higher. Very calm, very expansive, and sacred as well. Try to taste that atmosphere that is there at the peak of the spiritual mountain. Great joy. A deep atmosphere of calmness, the calmness of spirit. Now, see your gaze, your vision expand, become wider. You can look up to the heavens. A huge view. And in this atmosphere, this uplifted atmosphere, the saints communicate amongst themselves. They meet in this high atmosphere, not earthly, but uplifted, heavenly, exalted. And let us enter that atmosphere ourselves. And the closer you get to this high atmosphere, the closer you approach calm ecstasy. And then let's go down, let's descend from the mountain peak into our body, let's go back to the external world, but let's carry this atmosphere of calmness and depth of joy to the world, with the feet firmly on the floor, on the ground. Let's be practical. Let's be concrete. But the atmosphere lingers. Now let's open our eyes. If you took away your mask after the meditation, you want to put your mask on again. And let's listen. Listen together, staying in this inner state of calmness. Let's listen to the words by Swami Kriyananda about calmness. Calmness is perfectly achieved when life's little wave becomes absorbed into the cosmic sea in divine ecstasy. In daily life too, we can achieve calmness to a degree by keeping our awareness focused on the reality of the Spirit underlying all outward circumstances. Calmness comes with the determination to live ever happily in the present moment, relinquishing the past and not worrying about the future, but placing our lives firmly in God's hands and knowing that He is fully in command. Calmness comes with non-attachment, with knowing that nothing in this world is truly ours. And let's affirm first out loud, then with a low voice, soft, quiet voice. Though the wind of difficulties howl around me, I stand forever calmly at the center of life's storms. Though the winds of difficulties howl around me, I stand forever calmly at the center of life's storms. Though the winds of difficulties howl around me, I stand forever calmly at the center of life's storms. Now, look up at the point between the eyebrows and attune yourself with this center of calmness that always exists, our superconscious mind. And from that center, let's feel these words coming from that center. Though the winds of difficulties howl around me, I stand forever calmly at the center of life's storms. And let's pray. With Thee beside me, I know that the tides of trouble can never sweep me away. Hold fast my hand, Lord. Never let me go. Om Shanti. Amen. Rays of One Light. The theme is How Do Devotees Rise? Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. Last week, we asked the question, why do devotees fall? And we considered the downfall of Judas in this context. Jesus, in answer to Judas's criticism for allowing Mary to rub his feet with spikenard, a very costly ointment, said, "The poor always ye have with you, but me ye have not always." Jesus is saying here that there is one supreme injustice that needs eradication. Poverty, yes, but not of a material kind. Poverty in a spiritual sense. Divine blessings are not common in this world. They are extraordinary. When they come, we should give them priority above every other consideration. Never allow a moment of inner joy, for instance, to be set aside for lesser duties. Divine attunement is our highest priority. As Lahiri Mahashaya, the guru of Yogananda's guru, said, to listen to the heart's inner sound, Om, which issues from the very center of our being, is man's highest duty. Mary was not at that moment communing with the Master inwardly. She was serving him outwardly, but in a spirit very different from the restless fussing for which Jesus had reprimanded her sister Martha. Those who see a radical difference between the paths of action and meditation should understand this distinction. To serve in the right spirit is necessary, for only thereby can we overcome our karmic tendency towards restless activities. The important thing is that that spirit be always inwardly focused, that in everything we do, we act in loving service to the Lord. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita says in the 3rd chapter, the state of freedom from action, that is, of eternal rest in the spirit, cannot be achieved without action. No one, by mere renunciation and outward non-involvement, can attain perfection. Whenever the Spirit of God descends upon you, however, remember the words of Jesus, "Me you have not always with you." Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Oh. Hello, happy Sunday. Welcome. Have you ever wondered why they say, so the theme is, how do devotees rise? Have you ever wondered why they say on the spiritual path that, and every path of elevation, why do they say I have to go up? Why don't they say I have to go forward, to move forward in the spirituality? And therefore, I will read a quotation from Swami Kriyananda from the book Raja Yoga. No man has ever descended to paradise. The path has always been described rather as a climbing a mountain. I don't know if you like mountains, but if you don't like them, then you better learn to like them. Because on the spiritual path, we are all mountain climbers. We're not on the beach relaxing. Therefore, I would recommend mentally to take some good mountain shoes, because the path will be filled with stones on the way, and sometimes they can be big and tough. Sometimes we need to really climb, not just walk. So we need put on a good coat, because the spiritual path on the mountains, because when you get higher, it might not be very warm. It might actually be freezing on the spiritual path. It can be freezing. Sometimes it's also wonderful. Sometimes it's tough, cold. Take a good rucksack with you, backpack, and put some good energy bars in there. Why? Because you will need them a lot. You will need a lot of energy. And because it's tiring. If you really want to climb on the mountain, inner mountain, it will be difficult. It's much easier to say, I am where I am, that's the way I am, I'm not going to move on, I'm staying here where everybody is. But if you want to climb, that will be a battle. The climb is arduous, and you will need a lot of energy every day. And therefore, take some good energy bars with you. This image of the mountain is, of course, not mine. It has always been used in the mysticism. You may remember Saint John of the Cross, out of the Christian tradition, one of the great mystics, the greatest mystics of Christianity. And he wrote a book, The Ascension on Mount Carmel. And he says, how can I ascend step by step with all the difficulties? How can I get to the peak of Mount Carmel where Christ dwells? And he speaks about light and about all these yogic images. But he speaks about a mountain. In India they are wonderful because they have used words that explain things so clearly and beautifully. So in India, for example, they use the example of, maybe you know, also you can find it in Raja Yoga by Swami Kriyananda. In India they use the image of Mount Meru. And if you read the ancient Indian scriptures, that is a very particular type of mountain. For example, the Indian texts, scriptures say, Bhuva Madhya. What does it mean? Bhuva is the earth, and Madhya is the center. So it's in the center. which symbolizes also how our body is made. The world is the center, and that's where Monte Meru is. And then the scriptures say 5 peaks. It has 5 peaks. You can find it on the internet, and you will see images like pillars with 5 sections. And that is the inner climb to your center, and then step for step up. Some of you already know what I'm talking about, the 5 inner elements. When you go by, follow those, and you go to the zone of Brahma, which is up there. That is where Brahma dwells, the divine within us. And an Indian scripture that describes Monte Meru, that's the name of the scripture, Bhagavata Puran. He says Mount Meru is 1 million kilometers tall. What does that mean? This center with its 5 peaks takes you a million kilometers up towards the absolute, beyond space, towards the eternal, the eternity. Of course, all this is symbolic. Do you know what this Monte Meru is then? How does the devotee climb Mount Meru? And here you have an example. I hope you can see it on the screen, because you'd have to see it. Can you see it? This is the Mount Meru that we need to ascend, to climb. And I'll speak to you about I'll quote Swami Kriyananda. The spine, because you understand now that Mount Meru is our spine with its chakras. The spine is the tunnel through which consciousness ascends to enlightenment. It begins from the dimmest awareness at the base of the spine, and it ends at the seat of superconsciousness between the eyebrows. And he explains that each one of us, you, I, in this spine, in this your personal Mount Meru, you are somewhere there, and there where you are, where your gravitational specific gravity is, where your specific gravity is, that determines how you live and how you are. For example, when you're very low with your specific gravity, then you are very animalistic, you're rough, sensual, also very simple, almost like an animal. And Swami explains that animals, for that reason, they wiggle their tail, because his center of gravity is there. When, however, this center of specific gravity of your inner Mount Meru, your sacred mountain, inner sacred mountain, when it rises, our consciousness becomes freer, greater, more divine. You get to the heart, and you become enthusiastic about doing many good things. They speak about first chakras. You are still very low, very dark in your consciousness, raw. Then you go up, you become Vaishya. You're much more agile, intelligent, but it's all for you. You go further up and you become a Kshatriya, and you want to do beautiful things for other people, serve, help. And at the end, all the masters have gotten this far, and they get there through their specific gravity. It is there in the spiritual eye. And then obviously all those chakras, they spline, they function, they're not closed. Think of Yogananda's third chakra, this heart chakra, the third chakra. The first chakra, practical, the warrior, the third chakra, the love he had, the heart chakra. Everything shines, but it's all anchored in the Christ consciousness, the Krishna consciousness, the Buddha consciousness. And that is our climb. That is the climb we need to make. Therefore, if we look at the manual for the climb, how can we do it? How do devotees rise on a practical level? What do the scriptures say about it? What does Yogananda say about it? What does Kriyananda say about it? Well, if you look well, and if you read well, a little bit, you can find like the 5 big S's. Like the 5 big highways. They are like highways to climb faster and more strongly and get to the peak of the mountain that we are trying to reach. And you know them all. Let's look at the first highway. Maybe you already heard about it. It's called Seva, service. And that Swami, when he speaks first about that. It's important. That is Martha in Christianity. We have to serve like Martha does. Bhagavad Gita says, without action, you can never reach the goal. So Martha was not wrong in acting. Her mistake was that she was not calm inwardly, that she was restless, that she was not really in the presence of God. Because when you get restless, you lose a lot of that calmness, that divinity. But Martha is a symbol of love, loving, giving, caring. And what does Swami say then? And Yogananda, what do they say? Every time you do something good, or you have the intention, the positive intention to do something for someone else, a little kundalini goes up, awakens and goes up. And therefore, a little bit, your climb proceeds. You are proceeding with every pure emotion or thought of loving, serving, sharing, giving. And so I would like to encourage you, to invite you to affirm. Maybe we can close our eyes for a second and we can feel our lives. Am I serving? Not just working. Work is not service. Work can become seva or service if you do it with a serviceful attitude. When you're on the phone, don't just be on the phone in the office because it's your job. Try to be on the phone, because that is your opportunity to serve, to give good energy. Even if you have to talk about contracts or something other on a practical level, try to serve when you're doing it. Try to do karma yoga, to do service. Close your eyes for a few seconds. This is not theory. If you imagine I am doing something good for someone else, immediately you feel some inner upliftment. You are rising. You feel better. You feel brighter because the energy goes up. A little bit more, this aura that saints have will light up also around you, because this aura comes through the energy that goes up, and then you have a lot of energy there. Also, you. Service then, close your eyes and feel that you are in your daily life, and try to think slowly, to determinedly decide and repeat, I with love, I lovingly offer service to to uplift, to climb my inner mountain, to rise. And so that is the first S, seva, service. The second S, maybe you already have something in mind, sadhana. This is essential to do, to uplift, to rise. Everyone has his own sadhana according to his own path, but whatever that practice or technique is, it must be something that stimulates the upgoing flow. Otherwise, you're not rising, you're not climbing the Mount Meru. You stay where you are. Maybe you make something shine, but because there are practices that, for example, in Ananda Yoga we practice for chakras. It doesn't. Swami says it's not enough to just stimulate. For example, if we do something for the third chakra, he says it's not enough. It needs to be stimulated, but then drawn upwards. All good practice. When you practice spiritual practice, you do them well. They create an upgoing, an ascending flow. Then we are climbing spiritually the sacred mountain. It's not easy. I'll read something from the Bible now. I think it was Ezekiel 28:14. God is talking here. I put you on the holy mountain of God. I put you on the holy mountain of God. I placed you there. I let you walk, made you walk surrounded by burning stones. And Swami explains, says that is the sacred mount of God, and the burning stones are the chakras. That's why I said put on some good mountain shoes. At least you don't burn your feet. So the Bhagavad Gita says, maybe someone has read it and remembers it. Amongst all the mountain peaks, I am Meru. Amongst all the peaks of all the mountains in the world, I am this inner mountain. And sadhana means climbing, and that is fundamental. So that is the second one in Christian. And that would be in Christianity. The second, sadhana, would represent Mary. The first one, Martha. The second, Mary. The third S, what could that be? Satsanga. Someone said it. This is also fundamental, essential. The energy exchange that we have. If you don't seek satsang, spiritual life becomes too difficult. Too many tamasic and rajasic influences. You must have sattva. You must have sattvic satsang, where there is a magnetism exchange, like now the ones who are here and the ones who are following us from home. We are having satsanga, and this is essential. More essential than we think. Yogananda said even environment is stronger than willpower. And we cannot often leave our home or change our jobs. That may not always be possible. Where we can, we must create some sattvic environment. And especially people, mix with people who uplift your energy in this inner mountain. Because too many people just depress you. There's too much in the world that just like watching television that just depresses you. But people who have like an atmosphere, an aura around them, even without talking, and you can see them, you watch their eyes, you're close to them, and you feel some inner upliftment, and you feel that you're going up inwardly. This is more important than what people normally think. Try to find friends like that. Come to places like that. Do satsang, follow satsang online. This is too important. That's the third S, satsang. The fourth S is also essential. Satguru, the true guru. In India, you find a teacher, a music teacher who comes to your house. That's also called a guru. So everything, a teacher. Guru in India is just teacher. But Satguru is the absolute existence. And the Satguru is also one with God, completely one with God. And one like that, having satsang with him or her means the highest satsang you can find. Swami Sri Yukteswar says the highest form of satsang you can have is with your guru. Being with your Satguru, ask the Satguru, meditate with the Satguru, bow before the Satguru. It functions magnetically, as Swami Kriyananda says, like a magnet that you met close to your spine. And then with the magnet, you go like up, and with all the energy up there, it draws up the energy, it pulls it up, pulls your energy up. How, as you can read, if you haven't read yet The New Path, it's a beautiful book, such a beautiful book, wonderful book. Swami Kriyananda, when he was in the presence of Yogananda, he didn't even see him because he didn't have his eyes open, but he could feel that energy. And it was so beautiful, so filled with love, that when he felt that, he could only weep. But also, with Swami Kriyananda, I experienced something similar. He frightened me in a certain way, not because he was bad, but because I often, he asked Sahaja and me to have dinner with him, because in his presence I could hardly speak, because I could feel very strong energy in the heart and here. He didn't want to talk about spiritual things when he was on the table. He just wanted to be with friends. But I could feel this so strong that I couldn't speak, because I could feel this energy influence. One time I entered his home. I'd never experienced something like some energetic like that. All of a sudden, I felt like I was being uplifted, and I was walking. Because there was all this energy of Swami that uplifted me. And it's not only Swami Kriyananda. He never declared him to be himself as a Satguru. In India, they considered him a guru. Ananda Moina said, "You are the guru of Ananda, the teacher." And he said, "But the true Satguru of this path is Yogananda, of course." So even when you were in his presence, but also in the presence of other people who are evolved, I had experienced that too. I felt this effect. If you go on pilgrimage and you meet saints, Swami Kriyananda said, you can feel what happens with the energy in your spine. Not just through your eyes, but observe through what's happening in your spine, what's going on in your mountain, Meru. Because you can feel this rising energy. So that was the fourth S. And on the last one, not so easy to guess, Shraddha, which means energized devotion, trust in God, offering up everything to God. Okay, I'll do my best. I'll attune myself with my master. Okay, I will serve. Okay, I'll do sadhana. But all of that will not take you up to the peak. What will take you up to the peak is 50% of the job is grace, divine grace, that comes only through devotion, Shraddha. Because if you do Aung So Kriya Yoga, I serve, but you, like we heard before in the lecture, but not in the presence of God and serving God and the others. I serve, I act, I become restless. That will not make you rise on the path. There has to be an offering up to God, shraddha, devotion to God. And then you may fall and say, I can't. We all make errors. Said, okay, God, I'm doing my best. In the Bhagavad Gita it says, if you can't manage, offer your failings to me, your failures to me. Okay, I'll offer you my failure. I'm again in a dip. Everyone has his own dips. I'm again a little down in my locked up in my personality that we all have. I'm again trapped there. And he says, okay, God, I'll offer you my failure, but I also offer you what I've done, good things, the successes. I offer everything. I'm reading about Yogananda's disciples, their lives. I'm studying their lives, and now I'm reading Gyanamata's life. And we don't have the rights, but that book needs to be translated into Italian because it's too important. Because so concrete, so practical, and yet so intense and so simple, but so crystal clear. Love God. When you do Kriya, she says, speak with God. If you are intense enough, that which is formless will speak to you in any case. And she had visions of Christ, and she entered the highest states of samadhi, but nothing without devotion to God. We don't need to be saintly to have devotion. With all our errors, okay, with all my errors, Lord, here I am. Help me to love you. Help me to open my heart. Because that is shraddha. I offer you everything. Do everything during the day for God, and during the night, again, offer everything up into His hands. I did what I could. I have my limits, but I've been sincere. I've done what I could. And I'd like to end then with a poem by Yogananda, maybe his most famous one. This shraddha, this devotion, this trust in God that makes us rise and climb our inner mountains. It is arduous, but here it is. Close your eyes and listen, as if it was Yogananda speaking, and speaks to you. And you feel that your soul wants to live like that. It's called God, God, God. From the depth of slumber, as I ascend the spiral stairway of wakefulness, I whisper, God, God, God. Feel now your spine, your inner mountain, and feel if you're already rising of energy. Thou art the food, and when I break my fast of nightly separation from thee, I taste thee and mentally say, God, God, God. Feel again what's going on in your spine, your inner mountain. No matter where I go, the spotlight of my mind ever keeps turning on thee. And in the battle din of activity, my silent war cry is ever, God, God, God. Feel again your inner mountain, and if you feel some rising flow of energy. When boisterous storms of trials shriek and worries howl at me, I drown their noises, loudly chanting, God, God, God. And again, feel within the effect of these words, these images. When my mind weaves dreams with threads of memories, then on that magic cloth I do emboss God, God, God. Again, listen within. Every night, in time of deepest sleep, my peace dreams and calls, joy, joy, joy. And my joy comes, singing evermore, God, God, God. In waking, eating, working, dreaming, sleeping, serving, meditating, chanting, divinely loving, my soul constantly hums, unheard by any, God, God, God. Now look at the point between the eyebrows and feel that you have arrived there at the peak of the inner sacred mountain. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, Jayadev, taking us up, a little bit up along this climb. For you here and at home, these months have given us many opportunities to regenerate and to recreate, to stay serviceful, to keep satsang with you, and also for our sadhana. So at this point, we usually have a little basket pass for those who want to help us to bring this climbing further. But again, because of certain anti-COVID norms, we cannot let the basket pass. But if you want, there is outside you can make a donation, and when you're at home, you may want, if you like, to support us, making your offering from the eat.anandaeurope or anandaeurope.org. And you can see the link on the screen, and there you can offer whatever your heart tells you to offer, and stay in touch with all of us. Let's listen to some music now. Let's listen to Swami helping us climb Mount Meru.
Quando mi sveglio per salutare il sol, quando esco nella città, nel silenzio del mio cuor, Signor, penserò solo a te. Nel silenzio del mio cuor, Signor, penserò solo a te. Quando rido e quando piango, nei malintesi e nell'amore, nel silenzio del mio cuor, Signor, penserò solo a te. Nel silenzio del mio cuor, Signor, penserò solo a te. Dio, Dio, sono tuo per l'eternità. tuo per l'eternità. Nella sconfitta, nella vittoria, nella vita intorno a me, nel silenzio del mio cuor, Signor, penserò solo a te. Nel silenzio del mio cuor, Signor, penserò solo a te. Nel lavoro e nel riposo, nella gioia e nel dolore, nel silenzio del mio cuor, Signor, penserò solo a te. Nel silenzio del mio cuor, Signor, penserò solo a te. Sono tuo per l'eternità, Dio, tuo per l'eternità. Quando mi sveglio per salutare il sole, quando esco nella città, nel silenzio del mio cuor, Signor, penserò solo a te. Nel silenzio del mio cuor, Signor, penserò solo a te. Quando rido e quando piango, nei malintesi e nell'amore, nel silenzio del mio cuor, Signor, penserò solo a te. Nel silenzio del mio cuor, Signor, penserò solo a te. Sono tuo per l'eternità, Dio, tuo per l'eternità. Nella sconfitta, nella vittoria, nella vita intorno a me, nel silenzio del mio cuor, Signor, penserò solo a te. Nel silenzio del
Let us now celebrate the Festival of Light. And it's different. It's a different image of the bird, not the mountain, but the idea is the same. Instead of mountain shoes, we put on wings and we try to uplift, to rise together in the heavens of spirit. Let us lift up our hearts in a festival of light. The essence of this ceremony has been passed down from ancient times. All waves that we are on the bosom of the infinite sea, joyfully together let us celebrate our own greater reality. For now, by God's grace, our redemption is at hand. The promise has been given. The divine light, returning anew to earth, has given us power, as the Holy Bible proclaims, to become the sons of God. In our hands have been delivered the sacred keys of awakening. Abundant now is our hope. The Lord, through the Bhagavad Gita, promised, even the worst of sinners, by steadfast meditation on me, speedily comes to me. Again, in that holy scripture,